The ruins behind me are that of the Roscommon Dominican Abbey, founded by Phelim O'Connor in 1253. The abbey was run by a Dominican order who were mendicant and depended on the support of the community they served. They were also known as the Black Friars because of the black cloak they wore over their white habit. At the time the Dominican Abbey was built, Roscommon was already a highly regarded ecclesiastical centre because of the Augustinian Abbey that already existed 400 metres to the north of this site. The founder of the Abbey, Phelim O'Connor, died in 1265, and as it was his right to be buried within the precincts of the church, and he's buried in a tomb near the high altar. His tomb has an effigy of Phelim on top, and directly behind it is the coat of arms of the O'Connor family. A couple of hundred years later, 8 panels were added to the side of the tomb showing gala glasses. In 1279, Roscommon Castle, the Anglo-Norman castle, was complete, and at that time evolved 2 communities, one an English community around the castle, and secondly an Irish community living between the 2 abbeys, the Augustinian Abbey and the Dominican Abbey. By 1445, the abbey was beginning to fall into disrepair, but they received an indulgence, a papal indulgence, to help them rebuild the church and remodel the cloisters. And it also points to the fact that Roscommon was possibly a prosperous area in that particular century. The abbey at that time would have been self-sufficient in food, that would have had a farm surrounding it, they would have had milk, butter, and in that way they were able to live quite comfortably. By 1570, the abbey and its possessions were confiscated by Crown forces. The friars went to live locally in villages outside the town and were protected by local gentry. During Cromwellian times, some of the friars were actually killed. There is a painting in existence that shows the abbey with quite a large tower intact. But local people around that time began to rob some of the stones from the abbey and also the tower, and the tower fell. By 1791, there were still 16 friars living in the area, but sadly by 1844, they ceased to exist. In modern times, the abbey would have been used for burials, along with the site at the old Augustinian Abbey. But in the early 20th century, around 1912, a new graveyard was built in Roscommon Town on the Athlone Road, and this meant that there was no longer a need for burials in those 2 sites. The Dominican Abbey in Roscommon was the first house built in an Irish Gaelic context, a highly regarded ecclesiastical centre.